Hi, hi, my name is Pete Garcia, and this is my first video. I will be trying to post more videos, but the main reason for this video or starting videos is because I have experience in talent acquisition, HR, over 10 plus years, and I want to be able to help others, just put my different experiences. I've worked with many great organizations, Fortune 500 companies, and I've worked for corporate and non-corporate roles. I have been blessed with the opportunity to be able to work with such great companies. I'm not here to bash any company, nor am I going to bash any managers or call anybody out. My purpose for my posting is pretty much just to share my experience, not to talk about any company specifically or calling anyone out. Yes, I've gone through probably a lot of pain points as you guys all have. I've been through management issues with company issues. Um, I think that I don't think no one is immune to this. I mean, it pretty much affects everyone in America and probably globally. But I've had the opportunity to work for talent acquisition as a corporate recruiter. I've also worked in banking originally. I started my profession as a banker and worked myself up, but to management. So I have a lot of experience. I worked for various industries, oil and gas, manufacturing, logistics, just to name a few, chemical. I worked in staffing. Let me see. I've worked in managing consulting, real estate. Um, I just I've worked in pretty much all. I don't have a script, and my purpose is not to have a script because I do. I've watched other channels, and one of the things I hear a lot is, don't get don't get scripted, because then I'm gonna, only be off the cuff every now and then. I really just want to remain, true, authentic, to my words, to my experience. Um, I want to see if maybe, you know, there could be good topics that we can, talk about. But I do believe that right now the current job market is in 2025 is hitting us extremely hard. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I am playing music in the background just because I don't want it to be too serious. um, I've hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. I'm sure I'm talk pretty loud, so I mean I'm sure you guys can hear me, but I'm nervous. Being on here. I have been saying that I'm going to get on YouTube for years, and that has never happened. I do consider myself, this is my passion. I love recruiting. Um, just, I do consider myself as a talent master, because I can identify a great candidate, not just a resume. I can see through the resume. When I talk to a candidate, whether it's on a video phone call or whether I'm talking to them over the phone, I am, I have, good, I've owned my skills as far as being the recruiter, so I can pick up on a lot of red flags. So I'm sorry if I'm pausing, but it's my first video. I'm pretty much, trying to, say the right words, and I'll talk, you know, in a bad manner. So I'm just trying to, you know, talk in a way where you guys can understand me. So yeah, I mean, I have, I could say I am someone that has always been successful in recruiting. I've been actually successful in every job I've had, even when I started in my early profession. As a matter of fact, before my profession, I started, you know, working as a teenager. I'm pretty much have always worked. I mean, I never stopped working because I really have always just been independent. Even as a teenager, you know, I was selling chocolates door to door. I learned that I was quickly, you know, passionate about sales. I was passionate about talking to people. I love to hear their stories, and I know sometimes it seems kind of odd that someone can come in and understand someone's story and background. That's me. It's not necessarily that I am trying to be on an investigative mode, a detective mode, but I do have great interviewing skills. It's just in me. I start to interrogate my kids, and they get tired, but they know I mean good. So it's a lot of things that go in it. I won't probably be saying it in my first video. I mean, again, this is an intro. I'm gonna go ahead and post it, no matter how it looks. I'm not gonna edit it, not at least for my first video. And plus, I'm not gonna sit there and edit it right now yet. I hope that this touches someone, you know, out there, because I think it's time for me to, you know, to share my now knowledge and be able to help others. So my main goal to get on this channel and to start, you know, getting on here is to help others. You know, I speak Spanish, so I do prefer to speak in English. I can speak it a lot better. I can type it a lot better. I can speak Spanish and I can definitely type, but I mean, again, my preferred language is English. But I want to try to see if I can have, you know, some videos posted and see maybe how that goes to reach out, you know, the you know, the Latino community. So I just want to help everyone. Sometimes I actually, one of my biggest things is I like to coach people. I like to mentor, mainly coach. I like to, even when I could remember when I was a teenager, being able to, you know, coach my siblings, even my own mom and my dad, which they really love that. But yeah, I mean, it's part of, it's always been a part of in my blood, right? So coaching goes along with when you've identified candidates, right? Or when you're in sales mode and you're looking for, you know, the next customer or client, you're trying to, you know, upsell them, and you're trying to deliver, and you know, and I try to do everything in a good way, not in a bad manner where, you know, hey, you know, I want to take advantage of you. No, you know, I never really want to do that. But again, you know, if it's something that the customer or client does need, or the company that I'm working with, you know, sometimes people don't understand that they do need this job. This is a great opportunity. In all of the jobs that I've had, I've been a very successful recruiter. I mentioned that earlier, but I have been very successful, and I'm very grateful to God for that. And I will bring God up a lot because He has always been a part of my life. I wouldn't have been here today if it wasn't because of Him. God has brought me here, and I think God guiding me and telling me, hey, it's time for you to be on the video. Yes, I'm probably going to be, you know, negative things come along, but honestly, I guess negative things are also things that, you know, that I'm prepared for. I mean, I know I had to prepare for this mentally. Hey, you know, you're gonna get people that are gonna say things, but I mean, honestly, I invite you to. I mean, I'm gonna try not to block you. The only way that you will get blocked is if you continue to attack me and you know, talk about nonsense and you don't really engage. If it's not really, you can talk in a negative way, in a negative tone, where you're challenging the subject or you're challenging something. I don't do it in a way where it's bad, you know, where you're just trying to, you know, waste my time and bring me down, because I'll probably allow it, you know, one or two, but after the third time, you're gonna be blocked. So again, have that understanding that as a community in my channel, let's be open to talk, let's discuss. I want this to be a free channel for everybody to be able to recommend any topics. Hey, what do you want me to talk about? Again, I'm going back to being a successful talent acquisition recruiter, and I've also worked you know, in HR, and I worked for various industries. I mean, honestly, one of the hardest things that I've had to go through has been hit by major layoffs. And I mean, I have not only been the one affected. I mean, there's so many companies, departments, I mean, industries that were affected and are continuing to be affected in 2025. So again, this has nothing to do with, you know, with me not being a great worker, me not performing. I've always performed. That's one of the things that if a company is going to get rid of me, it's not going to be due to my performance. And you know why? Because I know I deliver, and that is not a joke. When it comes to high volume recruiting, I'm not afraid of it. Let's get it. Let's go. If I have to hire, you know, for any role that is a non-corporate role, which mainly is high volume roles, I'm not afraid of it. Let's go. A lot of recruiters, they are, you know, they don't like that. They prefer to be more corporate, you know, where they're getting the you know, mainly focusing on less of high volume roles. But anyway, the reason why I mentioned that is because I'm not afraid. It's my performance is never at question. I deliver, you know, and I never think that, oh, I'm the best, you know. No, I'm not the best. No, you know, no one is, you know, perfect, right? But I do deliver. When I say to a company, I am here to do the job, I am here to deliver, you know, whether it's on my metrics, customer service, you know, any projects, you know, I am tasked with. I might not be 100% aware of the project at hand, but I will research, and I will do my best. Another thing, I do have an MBA with a specialization in human resources management. Have I been wanting to get into management? I'm open to it, and I have, you know, worked in as a senior role, but you know, it's my passion really does come from being a recruiter, you know, a talent partner, business partner. Working in HR has showed me a lot of things. You know, sometimes, honestly, it's things that, you know, you guys are not aware of. You know, so some things that companies want to keep to themselves. But I don't know if I'm going to cross that line yet, you know, because again, I'm not here to, maybe if I'm talking in general, I think let's go. It's game on. If I'm speaking in general terms, yes, I can discuss those topics. Um, I just I don't like to offend, anybody, and I hope you guys can understand that, But I will say, oh yes, I've had this happen to me, and I'll explain my story, but I will never, ever, ever put a name to the face. I will never do that. Why? Because that's just unprofessional. That's rude, and honestly, that's nasty. Honestly, like, you know, unfortunately, when you're coming to work in this business world, I mean, it is not nice most of the times, But I've met great people along the way. I will tell you that. I mean, great people, great lasting friendships, um, you know, that I have, you know, acquired because, you know, you just go through things in these companies, and you meet each other, and you just just remain friends. um, you support each other, and I think that's one of the main things that we need to do is continue to support one another, even when the challenge is hard for us. you know this job market is really hard, not just for in my for recruiters, because recruiters are always the first one to be let go, which is crazy, right? You would think they would stay on board, especially in HR department, but no, we are the only one, the first to be let go, which is kind of like, hey, we help to hire all these great people, and we bring solutions, strategies to the table, and we get taken out. But it's not necessarily that, it's just the, the times, Uh, again, learn to not, it does hurt, but when that happens, it does hurt because it's like, but I know it had nothing to do with my performance. So that's things, but then, you know, then you have to realize that, hey, don't take it personal. I know it's business, at the end of the day. But again, this channel is primarily, I'm looking at the time right now, it's 17, going on 18 minutes. So I don't know if this is too long, too short, or what, but I really didn't want to make a long video, but I'm very talkative once I get, get to the talking. But normally I am, nervous about talking, like, getting on this video. I think I recorded one 2 days ago, and I didn't want to upload that one because I just didn't feel like it was 100% me. But anyway, I do want to tell you guys to please, just hopefully, I will one day have a successful channel. you know Maybe it will be something else. There's a lot of other things that I know that I'm open to, maybe making videos of. I mean, I'm open to a lot of things, but this is my passion. I want to talk about this first, and maybe we could start to talk about other outside, you know talent acquisition, HR topics. But I have learned a lot. And with that being said, I do want to be able to let people know, and you're going to be okay. I understand that a lot of you guys don't have a job. I understand that. You know why I understand that? Because I am recently laid off again. Yeah, laid off again. Right? Someone who, is performing and delivers, and, someone that has an education. But again, education is not stopping me from not having a job. And education is more for me, than the company, than anything else. That's my thing that I went to go do. I did it. You know, that's hard work. Um, Again, hard work, because when I was getting a degree, I had a full-time family. I was married. Um, I have three beautiful kids. Um, and It was hard. I was in banking and I was in management. So it was, in that situation, it was really hard because having been to manage a lot of young people, um, sometimes younger than me, and I was young at that age, at that time. So um, it was really hard, but I proceeded to tell myself, I need to do it. I need to finish it. So I'm a very determined person, but again, never do anything for a company, a, for any other reason but you getting it. Because I got an education doesn't mean that I will have a job forever. Or because I have all this experience doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to continue to have, a job forever. It's not, there's no right or wrong. There's, in this time, time is changing. The job market has gone, I mean, off the hinges, I guess you can say, but it's not what it used to be. A company used to be very dedicated to its employees, um, because the employees were had invested in them, right? That's what I do, is I invest in the company, right? So I hope that the company only invests in me. That's where the wires are getting crossed now with this job market. And when I mean wires crossed, I mean that things are always evolving and changing. We have to adapt. And if you are not a chameleon, you need to become one. And what I mean by that is, don't wait into that perfect opportunity to come. You know, try to know that if it doesn't come, there's something else. Pivot to another job, pivot to another industry. There's nothing wrong with that. I've tried to remain myself in talent acquisition even after I've already told myself, hey, maybe this is a sign that I need to leave, but honestly, I'm passionate about this, and it's hard for me to leave this, right? Because it's what I love to do. Um, I'm successful, and I could be successful in any company, in any right job, but I refuse to take, no for an answer. I will get another better opportunity. Who knows? And that might change. But I am still being open to that, right? Because nothing is forever. So just remember, guys, I'm just going to offer some type of, you know, solace to you guys, some type of, hopefully support. I know a lot of families are hurting out there. I just want you guys to know, hang in there. Hang in there. We will get through this together. We will get through this together. I promise you.